lake right now. It is a brutal day. Super winds. Just stuck my first jig of 2012. It's a 4.2. Scale might be a little bit off, but she is absolutely loaded with eggs. This is a chunker right there, but the scale, Berkeley scale said 4.2. It is a chunk. Twin tail K3R grub right there made by Outdoor Advantage. Stuck her right in the roof of the mouth. Pitched it on that log right there. It's a dead tree. And she hit it once and I set the hook and she was on. That is a nice Ohio largemouth right there. Caught on the K3R twin tail grub right there. Absolute chunk. Murky water, throwing the black and blue color. Look at that. Oh, it is super windy. I am getting my butt kicked. First fish of the day within about 45 minutes of fishing. Get back to you guys once we catch some more. Going in for the release of this nice chunker right there. Absolute hog of a, I guess this is a pre-spawner. It's hard to hear me through this wind. I'm going to put her back in the water so she can go back up on that log there. What a toad. There she goes. Woohoo! I love it. Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to end the day with that one and only fish that we caught today. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about what I used and how I approached today's new lake conditions fishing Clark Lake. Never even touched this lake before. Never actually gotten to fish it. It's a very shallow lake. Deepest point is probably about 7 foot, 8 foot. It's 98 acres. It's a state lake. It's a pretty good fishery. See a lot of crappie anglers out here, a lot of bluegill anglers, and the key to today's success is the fact that we only had about 2.5 hours of fishing on the boat today, which is pretty decent for a 4.2 pound largemouth, not knowing anything about this lake and only fishing it for a couple of hours. The main go-to lure I chose today, which I got a lot of bites on, including that one good fish, was the 1/8 ounce black and blue trendsetter jig with a 3-inch K3R twin tail grub made by Outdoor Advantage. And what I did is I just put it on the back of that jig right there. It's a very finesse presentation. I like throwing this as things start warming up, warmer weather starting to roll in Illinois and Ohio, and it's just a very subtle presentation to those fish. Kind of fishing right now in a little bit of pre-spawn, during spawn conditions. I can tell because the water temperatures probably in the high 50s, and there's still fish biting on the shoreline close to cover. I got that one jig fish on a pretty big stump right there, and I threw her right by the stump, and she nailed it immediately. That's a orthodox situation where you're catching those spawning bass and those pre-spawn largemouth. She's probably staged up on that log for a long time, just waiting for a meal to come down. And when that jig hit bottom, she was on it. A lot of guys like to throw big jigs this time of year. Biggest mistake you can do is throw a 1/2 ounce jig when you're fishing shallow water, or throw a 3/8 ounce. I like a 1/8 ounce for the main reason that it falls slower to the bottom. It's got a very, very slow reaction time, and it allows that fish to react to that bait dropping before it actually hits the bottom. With that subtle, slow presentation, we were also throwing a spinnerbait. We're throwing a 3/8 ounce max tackle spinnerbait with a 3.75 inch Vendetta shad by Outdoor Advantage again. And what we're doing is we were just kind of throwing on the shoreline where it was really windy, extremely windy today. We caught our big bass in the wind, throwing it against the shoreline, but we also got a few nice hits and a few nice misses on the spinnerbait. And all we were doing is throwing it up close to the shoreline there, and slow rolling it back in to where we can see that flash of the blade, and we could see a swipe of a fish come by and miss it. It was just a tough day, not knowing how to approach this lake, and I think if I would have stuck a few more fish, I probably had about 4 fish a day. Fish obviously were hanging on the woods today because the heat's bringing in the heat shining down on that wood is bringing in heat to the water. And again, with it being a little bit cold out, with the water temperature still being a little bit cold, those fish are going to be right up against that wood and rock, and that's kind of where we found those fish, up against the sandy, rocky shorelines where we had laydowns and timber and that kind of structure. But like I said, throwing the max tackle spinnerbait produced some nice bites, and then of course throwing that 1/8 ounce jig killed it for us and did a pretty good job, even though we didn't stick all the fish we had biting today. Threw it on 14-pound test. This is Sunline. It's their shooter. I believe it's their shooter. Fluorocarbon, 100% fluorocarbon. No stretch at all, which enabled me to get that good hook set right at the roof of the mouth, that largemouth, and throwing on a 6/8 Powell max right there. 6/8 because I like to get a quick short pitch onto that timber and bring it back in, because I'm not really casting from that far out, and throwing it on a Crotto, Shimano Crotto 51E. Thanks for watching today's episode. If you guys have any questions, please leave comments down below, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time on Fishing the Midwest.